Hello, and welcome to Please Don't Send Me into Outer Space, the podcast intent on exploring all that science fiction and fantasy has to offer, one random movie at a time. My name is chicka 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 chicka.
That's not your name.
What? Alright, I'll read it one more time.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
My name
is Aaron.
And
my phone's ringing. Sorry.
My name is Joel.
Hey, Kimbo.
Go ahead.
My name is Sarah.
The movie this week.
All my life I wanted to fly like the birds that you see way up in the sky, making circles in the morning sun, flying high in the sky till the day is done. I can't break away like a child in his fantasy, punching holes in the walls of reality. All my life I wanted to fly, but I don't have the wings, and I wonder why. I can't break away. I can't break away.
It was Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure from 1989, starring Keanu Reeves, Alex Winter, George Carlin. And there is a whole mess load of people. I mean, go on IMDb and just try to narrow down. Maybe they're not mostly recognizable names, but you're going to see a few that you're going to recognize, or at least faces. There's a lot of, hey, it's that guy faces. And musicians and other stuff like that. It's a really interesting cast. Okay, we can't go into this. I love this movie. So, Aaron, let's give a... No, I don't trust Aaron.
That's fine. I don't trust Aaron either. He's a Cylon.
And you got that laser eye put in. You've just been less trustworthy.
Laser eyes are way better than being like a sparkly vampire or,
What's wrong?
something like that.
I happen to be a very
Cyber eyes are cool.
handsome, sparkly vampire. That's great. Let's establish that you're a robotic man. I'm a sparkly vampire. This was Sarah's pick. So, Sarah, I'd like you to synopsize the movie. Hey, I said it right this time.
Well, now I'm kind of embarrassed because it was my pick and now I have to, own it. And I do feel more dorky for liking this movie as much as I do.
You're not dorky at all.
It could have been
Definitely.
worse.
But I kind of analyzed why I like it so much this time. And there's a lot of reasons. One of the reasons I liked it when I saw it, I was 8 or 9 when I saw it, and it just kind of blew my mind as an 8 or 9-year-old.
You definitely didn't see it in the theater.
I don't think I saw it in the theater.
Yeah, I kind of have a memory of seeing it in the theater, but I wonder if I imagined it. And Aaron's pointing at himself.
Oh, I did actually see it in the theater.
Crazy!
Sure.
Wow.
He doesn't love the movie as much as we do, but he saw it in the theater.
Yeah, it's fun.
No, it's fun, yeah.
It's fun. It's totally excellent.
It's totally fun, enjoyable movie, but for some reason it is ingrained into mine and Sarah's soul. So it's going to be difficult to talk about this. It's like when I tried to get you to criticize Escape from New York.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can be subjective towards this film.
No, I know you can.
I mean, there are definitely some fun moments.
If I start screaming, I apologize in advance. Synopsis.
Yeah, I was thinking... Okay, I'll just explain the movie first for anybody who hasn't seen this movie yet. It's excellent. It's about these two guys who are kind of ignorant at the beginning. They are failing history, and they have to figure out how to pass by getting a good grade on their history report. So that's sort of the setup for the story. And then George Carlin comes in this futuristic telephone booth from somewhere and tells them that they can use this time machine telephone booth to go through time, and that's how they'll pass their history exam, which is kind of crazy that is the story. So, it's Keanu Reeves starting off with his whole thing everybody knows him for now, the whoa and the whole thing. And then they start going back through time and getting all of these historical... They're pretty much caricatures, and watching it this time I saw even more that it's aimed at kids. When I was a kid, I watched this and I thought, oh, this is for teenagers. Totally, this is for teenagers. Now I watch it and I think it's for kids. It was for kids, but it was supposed to sort of make them feel like they were watching a movie for teenagers. And, so anyway, yeah, the story goes along. They're going through time in this telephone booth, and just a lot of crazy things happen. And I was trying to figure out why it's so near and dear to my heart. And this time I think I figured out it's because I really like the idea that even though they say a lot of stupid things in the movie, they end up doing things their own way and succeeding. And I think I, at that age, saw school and other things as sort of being really regimented. And I think I really liked the idea of them being able to go out and have autonomy and do things their own way and succeed at it and actually get, praise from adults for doing things their own way. And coming through those experiences, it seems like they actually did come out with knowledge, like not just, it's a silly movie. It's really silly. They say stupid things and it's funny. It's hilarious. But the feeling I took away from it is, as a kid, I just sort of thought it was a fun watch and that teenagers could go out and do crazy things, and I don't know. I knew you couldn't travel through time in a telephone booth, but I thought the idea was pretty cool.
As far as you know, you can't travel through time in a telephone booth. I mean, when was the last time you saw a telephone booth? You can't test this out nowadays.
True. So,
a movie for children. But it does have, like, a couple of moments where you're just like, oh, right?
The concerned parent in me came out when the scene where Ted, or Bill and Ted are in Ted's bedroom. Bill's room, excuse me. Bill's room. And Bill's mom's there, and they're both just kind of, like, ogling her, basically, and, it's revealed that Bill's mom, graduated, sometime within the time they were in high school, and then Bill's dad comes in and just it's like I don't know how to explain it other than he's like, kids, why don't you go out and go out in the streets and do some history, and I'm gonna probably just have a great time with your mom in your room, like.
Yeah.
And before the most recent viewing of this, I was totally ignorant of that scene entirely. Like, it didn't even connect until I was sitting down on Joel's couch and just watching it. And I was just like, what? What?
Well, it kind of reminds me of Fast Times. And I had never seen that movie till way later. And when I saw that, I was like, this is kind of like Bill and Ted's. And then it's like full-on nudity and everything. And so I almost wonder now if, like, the sexual innuendo and stuff that happened in this was, like, partially the era and the MTV stuff, but maybe partially because of Fast Times. I don't know. But
Possibly. But yeah, that was the one scene that really stuck out last time. I was like, whoa. Like, the concerned parent me was like, well, I better change the channel, Like,
Yeah. Wait a minute. What are we getting ourselves into? I gave this to my 9-year-old nephew for his birthday.
Excellent.
And it was so funny because I knew it was dated, and just this year I gave it to him, and the first time we watched it together, initially he goes, do you know what the word dude even means? It's a stupid thing to say. And I said, oh, yeah, it was just what people said back then. And then next time I saw him, he was saying dude all the time. It was just took just a few viewings of Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. And I think that it's still fun for kids today, even. And I'm glad I got to share that with them because my aunt shared this movie with me as a kid. So now I'm an aunt sharing it with my nephews.
That's so cool. That's so
It's
cool.
silly. It's a silly movie, and I feel silly liking it as much as I do.
Why would you feel like you had anything to that you should be ashamed of about this particular
I
movie?
don't know. I feel like people would see it as like a lowbrow choice or something.
I don't think it's any more lowbrow than, say, Forrest Gump, really. Like, it's... I mean, it's kind of something just to... You don't mull over this movie. I mean, you can. That's what we're doing right now. We're going to mull over it.
Yeah.
But it's entertainment.
Yeah.
And it's, so I guess somebody could say this is a bad movie, and I can see why somebody would say that, because
they're lame.
Yeah.
They don't like to have fun.
Yeah, they're kind of lame. They're kind of lame if they're just immediately like, oh, that movie sucks. Like, what?
Because every movie I have to watch has to be serious and must be totally grounded realism and make sense and have great, moral compass and meaning. And I have no fun and all my walls are gray. And I don't know. That's how I picture would really
You
hate this movie.
define my life. Sarah can confirm that I am a fun stealer. I mean, I suck the fun out of any movie that has an inkling of it. And I still, even watching this, being a film snob of a sort, critically, I can't fault this movie on a lot. It has a coherent story for the most part. Its dialogue is not bad. Its acting is definitely not bad. What else am I supposed to do? I mean,
I looked at the Rotten Tomatoes rating on it, and it has a pretty high score.
yeah.
I mean, it's not 100 or anything, but I think it was like almost 80.
That's
like,
really good.
yeah.
That's pretty high for a
Yeah, and I watched it with a more critical eye this time, and I did see a couple of moments that were like, this is aimed at a kid. like the Abraham Lincoln saying, party on, dudes.
For the whole mall scene, it's kind of aimed at a kid. I mean,
It's that mall scene.
it's so great, though.
It's so good.
Who cares?
Yeah.
It's like a list of activities that I want to do. I want to start breaking things apart with a baseball bat while I'm in a sports store. I want to just take over an aerobic thing. Aerobic thing, you can't do that. They don't do those in malls anymore. They did, for sure.
In our day.
Yeah.
The film is very honest, I guess you would say, with its intentions. Unlike a lot of other movies where, there's like always a switch or a bait or something going on, this film is like straightforward. Like from the beginning, we need to finish this report. How would they like this town? So they go get the guys and they show them, and then they find out how they like the town. Like it's very straightforward. There's no hidden message. There's no, M. Night Shyamalan, the twist at the end.
That must have been their intention from the beginning, giving them the time machine, because that's what he... Well, I don't know. He doesn't... When Rufus gives them the time machine, he doesn't say, you need to kidnap people from time, right? He,
Not
just
at all.
takes them to, look at what was actually happening. And
Exactly.
Napoleon happens to get drawn in.
Yeah.
But, what was I going to say? I was going to say, maybe somebody criticizing the movie would have been like, well, why don't they just go back in time for, a month and study and then, write the report or something like that. That's a freaking interesting... words? Yeah, that's a freaking interesting... I can't say the word interesting. Is it a word anymore, guys? Hand me a dictionary.
Interesting.
Interesting. Instant noodle.
Fun bien bien.
Fun bien bien. So, what were you going to say before I stood up?
Oh, I was just going to say... As a story, as a linear story, it's basically these kids are trying to pass their history class. But there's this other, like, kind of story happening at the same time that's about the past and the future and about how a chain of events can cause something to happen or not happen. And that's more, you know, it's really told in a silly way that's really sort of easy to understand for a kid. But pretty smartly written. I would say there's some jokes that you don't get until you're older if you watched it as a kid. I know Joel and I were talking about the soundtrack being just out of control on this movie. And
I wonder if people like it as much as we do.
And the clothes too. The clothes are out of control.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
What's wrong with Bill's shirt? It's a belly shirt.
He's got the bare midriff. And a hand-drawn stallion on the back of it.
On his
with
right
a sharp...
shoulder, right? Yeah.
That is some cool, customized clothes that he made for himself.
Fancy.
I used to see people dressed like Ted dresses in the movie around in Fillmore. Oh man, I just gave away where we're from. In Southern California all the time.
In San Dimas.
I never went to
I went to the mall today and I saw 2 ladies with their jackets wrapped around their waists. It's coming back, man.
I thought you were going to say they were dressed like Ted.
They were.
Now, I don't even need to see, like, Ted's head. I just see that outfit and, like, it's Ted. Like, it's such, like, an iconic image now that it's, like... Well, and the one with the orange, like, the shirt tied around the waist and the, yeah. I don't know. I just see it as being, like... Well, they did this...
It is iconic.
They did the cartoon, they did the toys, like... They hit that pretty hard. After the movie came out, as kids, we were just sort of brainwashed by the animated show and the...
I only remember a single episode, and that was where they went back to ancient Greece again, or maybe it was Rome, and accidentally tore the toga of whoever the Caesar was, and they started like a fashion revolution where everybody was like, oh yes, it's great to only have one shoulder on your robe. Why am I talking about that?
It's all good.
If we want to talk about the music, because that's... what is it? What kind of music is it? I mean, it's rock, right? But does it seem like it's a certain kind?
Well, the dialogue is pretty heavy on the fact that Bill and Ted both enjoy metal and rock.
Right.
Like, you know, the references to Van Halen, Iron Maiden. Yeah, it's great. It's great.
Slayer.
Definitely.
What did they say? They said,
at the speech at the end, there was the Bon Jovi reference.
Yeah, Bon Jovi.
Oh, and then who was the one who was ridiculed at the time? Crap. Oops.
I think they were supposed to kind of be losers in their own school, which was funny to me because I always saw them as being cool. Because
they actually couldn't play, that was the thing.
Yeah.
They really wanted this band to happen, but then...
Yeah.
They were a couple of big dreamers that weren't willing to put the work into it until it was down to the deadline.
Maybe they were, slackers.
Yeah. Couple of slackers. It's a terrible movie to show kids that don't do anything, and eventually it'll all work out.
I think that it's silly because it's like you've got the fish out of water stuff where they're in the opposite time and then they bring the historical figures back to the modern time. So it's like you get all of these silly interactions of great. Like the...
Just the vignettes of like, exactly how they're interacting with the other times and what they think. Like when they go to the Old West, they think, this is how you act. Howdy, partner. And it kind of seems like they're right. Who knows if that's... I don't know if that's historically accurate.
Well, and you could tell some of the sets weren't, the fully realized historical place that they should have been. But I think... I think that it's sort of a sneaky learning lesson for kids. That it's, it's got a lot of jokes and a lot of silly stuff that happens, but that there is like a message of, going out and getting something done, even if people say you can't. Oh, and there's the, parents don't understand, that old thing.
Yeah, and
Parents don't get it.
that's consistently through the thing.
Yeah. But I definitely liked it as a kid because it was unique and because they were doing something different than what everybody else was doing.
Cool.
But that didn't mean they weren't gonna complete it. It didn't mean they were going to fail.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of like criticism, I'm trying to think of what the first thing I did think about.
It's not too deep, but I mean, it's a kids movie, right?
Yeah, that's true.
I didn't expect there to be like some huge moral, other than hard work. Well, the hard work, perseveres thing was kind of cool,
Yeah, no, it isn't very deep.
They could have overcomplicated the...
That's the thing, but they kept it simple.
Yeah.
Which is good.
I think this is the kind of movie that you could put on and let play in the background without fully paying attention to, and you're like, oh my gosh, that was funny.
That wouldn't work for me, because I'd have to watch it, and then our dinner party would be ruined. Absolutely ruined.
Oh no, Joel.
Yes.
Oh, don't cry. It's just a dinner party, man. Oh, sorry, I was getting too much into that scenario there.
Imaginary dinner party.
Our time machine in this movie is a telephone booth with a special antenna that goes through timelines, like almost like phone lines, like that alternate, like, I don't know what that is, the time stream, I guess?
You access, the idea is you're accessing different eras of time by typing in a series of numbers and then hitting pound and star at the same time to end it. And I used to go into phone booths sometimes and just hit buttons randomly because I want to go through time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's like kind of a knockoff of Doctor Who in the police box, right?
Absolutely.
And they did the police box in Doctor Who so that it would blend in, at least originally in the time period.
Yes.
But what would be the purpose of the phone booth there? Because it's not like they were ever in a situation where they would have to...
I guess you're right, because where did they find the time machine? Outside of a Circle K.
Right.
It was empty. There was no one around, so there was no need for it to blend in.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's interesting.
When did the Mongols
that.
rule China?
In the movie, they said 14 something.
Oh, you're supposed to say. I don't know. I just work here.
I don't know.
Oh, that's right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm on fire. What's wrong with you guys?
I have plenty of lines from this memorized, but the ones that I think my nephews liked the most were the part where Bill says, "How's it going, Royal Ugly Dudes?"
Mm-hmm.
And the part where they ask the brother why he left Napoleon, and he says, "'Cause he was a dick."
Ah. I don't know if I should bleep that or not.
Oh, are we going for a
PG-13.
certain rating?
I'm going for PG, but that's a line from the movie.
Well, you can just do the first one if you want.
If you want to see my bleeping examples, you just gotta listen to the faculty episode, because that's got this.
Is that
stuff.
up?
No.
Well,
it will be by the time this is released, but yeah.
Well, then I'll dream about it.
You can listen to it whenever you want.
I never really thought about the TARDIS because I didn't really watch Doctor Who.
In Doctor Who, the reason why it was stuck as a police box was because the machine lacked the ability to. It had this thing called chameleon circuit, and it was busted, and he hasn't been able to fix it. So that's why that's the reason why it's stuck as a police box.
Oh.
Yeah.
When did that come into the story, though?
I'm gonna have to say that, I don't have like a specific era reference for that, other than I know that Tom Baker mentioned it. But I'm gonna have to say that before Doctor Number 4. I'm sure it's been referenced in episodes, just because up until that point it had been running for like years, like since the 60s, right? So yeah. That would be almost 15 years or something like that, that the show had been on air. So yeah, I'm sure they did an episode somewhere where someone was like, hey, some farmer's like, what's that? Why does it look like that?
Of the field.
Yeah.
The Mayan temple.
Yeah, the Mayan temple episode.
I watched this really old episode of Doctor Who once, and it was on YouTube or something in black and white.
Oh, cool.
And it almost reminded me of, like, Outer Limits or something, like a Twilight Zone-ish kind of thing. It was cool. I liked it. I liked it a lot.
I haven't seen a lot of the first and second Doctor. The point where I started, my parents let me watch it on PBS, so I just started with Doctor Number 3. To be honest with you, I've seen a couple of references here and there. There's a really fun video on YouTube where Doctor Number 1 is watching the Beatles perform from the monitor of the TARDIS.
That's
which is really cool. Something about time traveling and rock and roll, man. It's a fun combo.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. There wasn't a tape deck in the DeLorean. So
there wasn't.
No.
But Marty McFly could rock.
Oh, he had his portable tape deck on him too.
Yeah.
Was this before or after Back to the Future?
Back to the Future was 84. So this was after.
Yeah.
This is 89.
Yeah, Back to the Future I see as being kind of in the same category of having like a sci-fi element, but being like also silly.
Back to the Future is less fun than this movie.
Yeah.
I mean, Back to the Future is freaking great. Like, when it comes to...
a movie?
When it comes to which one is better, I'd say Back to the Future is a better movie than Bill and Ted, but I think that Bill and Ted is more fun altogether. Like, the whole movie is like one big package of fun. And Back to the Future has a bunch of nuances of, like, suspense and, actual science fiction. And this movie has, time travel in itself is a science fiction concept, but it's sci-fi. It's not actual hardcore stuff at all, of course.
Well, the conceived future of Back to the Future, when they go to the future, I feel is more modern than what you get from Bill and Ted's future, though, which we've been discussing a little bit about how it's, like some sort of prog rock or like...
Yeah, everything's basically the same, except for they've got a little more high tech. In this one, it's like, maybe they're coming from the same future, but they're from a location where it's like a cult.
Whoa! That's a cool concept. The Bill and Ted cult.
Yeah.
I saw it more as like a Star Trek future that
Absolutely.
was like,
oh yeah, for sure.
That was like, when you go to certain planets in Star Trek world, you end up on this one and people are dressed kind of weird, you
Absolutely.
know? And they have like weird customs and stuff. And like, I almost saw it as Earth becoming this like Star Trek-y like future planet.
Yeah, like a Federation planet where everyone is united.
Yeah.
The Earth was united in the Star Trek future, and Bill and Ted both brought the Earth together.
Unity, through their amazing music.
Yes.
Let's go back to the music for a second. What's your favorite song from this? Sarah?
Definitely the two heads are better than one. But I Can't Break Away is pretty intense, too. I don't know if that's the name of it or not, but...
That's a fantastic opening. Like, with the CGI crystal coming out of this, with that music going on.
Yeah, it's still pretty intense. Like, when you're watching it now, you think, wow, where's this going? Intense opening.
Yeah.
And, so the first thing that came to mind was the two heads are better than one, because for some reason, whenever I think of this movie, that song just goes right into my head. And, it's a powerful, rockin' 80s song, and I didn't know until today that it was written by the brothers Nelson and, Dweezil Zappa. I guess they were approached by the makers of this movie and asked to make a song for it, and they wrote that song.
You know what's terrible?
Fantastic.
I can sing
so
at least
cool.
a couple of Brothers Nelson songs, but I can't sing any Zappa songs at all, so I'm just gonna... We're only on the second floor. I gotta go up a couple floors
No,
and
Joel.
jump off.
Don't think about it. Remember, you're a sparkly vampire. You'll survive the fall.
The rain. Oh, yeah, that's true. Forgot about that. It's nighttime, so no one will know my secret.
And the future people, the elders or whatever that they speak to when they come into the future.
The 3 most important people in the world.
That's what they're called in the credits,
That's right.
I guess. Wow, it sounds like I've been studying this really hard, this movie. I've just been watching it every day for the last decade. I just watched it a lot when I was younger, and I've seen it a few times recently.
Yeah, and you got that 10,000-word essay that you wrote.
I have a really good memory for music, and I always have. Sometimes on the first listen of a song, I'll just remember, a line and a melody from it, and then then I've just got it in my memory bank. But,
That's awesome.
Aaron,
Yeah.
pick a song.
I'd say if I have to pick a song from this movie that I found to be super entertaining, I don't know if I can pinpoint one. I mean, the scene where they do go to the future, I feel it's a very powerful scene. The music is done in such a way that allows you to really get the message across that everyone is brought together, be excellent to each other. When they say that, the music in the background really solidifies the fact that you're yeah, I could see this, This is a utopian society where everyone can just air guitar at each other, And everyone could be equal. Race is not an issue, religion's no longer an issue. I can just look at you, you can look at me, and we can air guitar at each other, and we can both come to some type of agreement that, we're great, and things are great. And
it's
I really
all gonna be okay.
There's no other all the other songs in the film are fun, I feel, are really fun, but that one is almost like the Wizard of Oz, black and white to color, that if you could take a cinema moment and put it into music, that's what it felt like to me anyways. Cause there they are, the future is realized, and they are the ones who caused this. And it's just kind of a, wow, I or even better in Ted's terms, whoa.
Yeah, totally.
It's you. It's us. Ooh-wee.
Totally.
Yeah. Well, I gotta either go with During the Mall. I absolutely love that whole guitar thing. That's Extreme. Do you know Extreme?
Oh my gosh.
You grew
Extreme.
up just after us, Aaron, so you don't know.
Not.
I don't. I
Just
think
a couple
Extreme.
of years.
I think
yeah.
Extreme was beyond my.
Oh boy! Oh
You
boy!
didn't, well,
What I miss out on,
you didn't
guys.
have older siblings either. That's
Nope,
the key.
I was the oldest,
I said, well, she didn't have older. Hey, you know what? I don't know why I know this stuff, but
Tell me about Extreme.
what
What's
is
that?
the Extreme? What is the single that they had?
Well, now I'm gonna guess wrong because I always confuse the ones with
Is it More Than Words?
Mr. Big and.
Mr. Big is I'm the one who wants to be
Yeah.
with you. So Extreme must be More Than Words.
Yeah, I think I think More Than Words is the one where they're jamming.
Yeah.
In the studio or whatever.
Yeah, made famous by Mike Myers in the movie The Love Guru. No, nothing was made famous by that. Never mind. Apparently he sings that song.
Yeah, fact check me on that, but I think Extreme is More Than Words.
I'm pretty sure you're right.
And More Than Words is More Than Words is just one of those priceless songs.
Don't alienate all the listeners. I'm sure they all love that song.
No, I think it's awesome, but I also think now, watching this, it's definitely dated. There's a slice of time where all of these things made sense together, and now they're all sort of outdated in their own way. Music's totally different, clothes are totally different.
It is a time capsule, though.
Yeah.
It's a really fun time capsule.
Totally, yeah.
It pinpoints a time period that I feel like is after slightly after the 80s Valley Girl thing, but right before the whole grunge thing. Which, I mean, I don't think it was an exact transition from one thing to the other, obviously, but these guys are not stoners, but they act like what you would think a stereotypical stoner acts like. There's talk with the California surfer talk, the dude and all that stuff, but they also use super intelligent words like heinous and triumphant and what was that part I was laughing about? Figures of historical significance or something like that.
Was it Bill walks up to a bunch of peasants and he asks if there's any
personages of historical significance.
It's even more detailed than I remember. Yeah, personages. Yeah. It's like, and that's something that reminds me of Clueless, because they used a lot of big words in that, right, to sound smart or whatever they were going for. Their school system was teaching them this stuff. I don't know. It's like, it reminded me of Clueless. It reminded me of Wayne's World. Although that's different too, but it had that rocker attitude. You gonna show your nephews Wayne's World?
Yes.
Okay.
Probably not yet,
okay.
but I think you and I both really like Wayne's World too. And that was another one I used to watch with my aunt.
Yeah, Wayne's World was a huge influence for me too. My aunt was actually a huge fan of that, and I to this day, like, I think she came to my house once. This is my Aunt Sue. If you're listening, this is a story I remember of you. I'll blast you across the podcast. Hi, Aunt Sue. You came in the house and you looked at my mom and you're like, "Hey, do you need to spew? Spew in this." And you held up a little paper cup. And I think at that time your hair was pretty much just like Dana Carvey's. So thank you, Aunt Sue. It was a beautiful moment, and I'll never forget. I love you.
That's awesome.
That's great.
Yeah, I had a cool aunt, my Aunt Chris. Shout out to my Aunt Chris if she's listening. Yeah, we didn't have very many tapes at my house, at my own house back then. And my Aunt Chris had a really awesome tape collection of movies. And she used to hang out with us a lot. And she showed us stuff like Wayne's World and stuff like this. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. And yeah, it reminds me of her.
That's so awesome.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of if there was like a pivotal memory I had like that of her doing something that was like, that was just so this time period. The first thing that comes to mind is actually my stepdad brought home a CD of Sgt. Pepper's for the first time. It was released on CD.
Wow.
And he put it on our CD player, new CD player, and my Aunt Chris started dancing to it in the kitchen, and it was like just totally 80s dancing, like totally. And so that was that's the memory I have when thinking back on this era of my aunt that introduced me to this movie.
So much fun.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Rock and roll and
So
time
fun.
travel.
It sounds like it's just all fun memories and stuff like that. Like, that's why you've got such an attachment to it. I don't remember particularly watching this with any family members. I'm sure I must have, but I mean, the reason why I know that song was by Extreme is because my older brother had, like, Extreme on cassette tape, would listen to that stuff. But that's about as far as I can remember. It was just one of those movies we had on VHS that I could watch over and over again.
I wonder if there was like an age where, if there were kids in high school at the time that thought it was real stupid. I wonder that now.
I'm sure there was a demographic that was just like, this is for babies. Like, I'm sure of it.
Or that thought that whole, like, dude thing was the way they talked and acted, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Not in our town, there weren't. Because we were all saying dude. We all still say dude.
Still do, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I can't. It will not leave my vocabulary. I've tried. I've even. Yeah. Anyways.
It doesn't need to leave the vocabulary. So, is there anything else you guys want to hit
About the movie?
about this movie?
I'm pretty confident that we've covered all the major bases.
Cool.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else that needs to be mentioned real quick. I don't know, just the Jonah. I don't know if we even spoke a little bit about the mall scene, but I just wanted to say real quick that I just every part of that was amazing, and I loved the number of montages in this film.
Yeah.
Are just amazing, and I don't know if we need to cover that or if we've already covered it.
Just go over it real quick.
Oh my gosh,
yeah.
how amazing is that?
Yeah.
I didn't even really notice it until when we were watching, and Joel was just like montage. And I was like, oh my gosh, you're right. But it really brings the story together. It really does.
They're not trying to hurry through everything. They make it kind of awesome. Like we didn't need to see them all separately. There's the part where Bill's mom Missy makes him clean the house. We didn't need to have we're kind of messing up with the vacuum cleaner. Al Leong is brushing his head with a toilet brush. We did get all those parts, but they were all just really quick with that rock music playing in the background, and or it was
Napoleon going down the water slides.
Yeah.
See that?
That's
I think
second
is
place for music for me right there.
yeah,
Boys
yeah,
and the girls are doing it.
yeah. They're going down the water slides. That's what I thought was so great, because it was take Napoleon, this mean guy, this mean person who was like a war fighter, and then he ends up at raging waters.
I like how he has to interact with those children and stuff like that. I want to imagine being on the set and seeing him like pretending to argue with that little girl, and she being like, no, and he's like, no.
Yeah. Or taking some kid down the slide with them. That would have been really fun.
Picking her up and running up the stairs. We're not going fast enough.
Yeah.
That's great.
So good.
Yeah.
It's silly. I'll say that 100 times, but I mean, it's like you and I were talking about what our favorite movie to watch is. Like, if you had to choose one, we were saying that most of the time we'd probably choose the first Die Hard movie if we had to choose a movie to watch that we've seen a million times before.
Yeah, I could put a top 5 list together real quick. It'd probably be Die Hard, Bill and Ted, Wayne's World, Groundhog Day, and maybe High Fidelity because I'm a sap. Those are the movies that I could just have on there. And Bill and Ted definitely on that list. Hey, we're gonna watch something. It's gonna be Bill and Ted. If it's not, I'm leaving. No, that's not what I meant. But.
Yeah, I think we've seen Die Hard a lot of times.
Yep.
Die Hard and...
Al Leong is also in that movie. He's the Asian guy that steals from the candy counter.
Oh.
He's acting all coy about it. Nobody look. Dude, you guys are breaking into the building. Don't see him stealing a candy bar. Yeah.
I think sometimes you just want to put on a movie because it's fun and,
yes.
It's... Mm-hmm. I definitely like a lot of movies that are way more challenging than this one. And, it was my pick this week, and I was between this movie and a very different one that I watched with my mom.
What was that one again?
It's called The World, the Flesh, and the Devil.
The World, the Flesh, and the Devil.
Sounds intriguing,
Let's
though.
look it up real quick. I think it's, got...
The World, the Flesh, and the Devil from 1959.
That movie...
Harry Belafonte.
Yeah, has Harry Belafonte, and it deals with some pretty serious issues. For the time back then, it was kind of controversial because there's a relationship between a white woman and a black man after sort of a disaster strikes and there aren't any people left around. But it's a really good movie as well, and I probably would have chosen that one if I hadn't chosen this one.
Is Harry Belafonte the one who sings the Calypso songs that are in Beetlejuice?
He was a singer, and he sang like banana.
Yeah, that's great. Banana.
Banana. No, I can make up my own banana song.
That's cool. Banana, pajama. Yeah, it's good. I listen to that.
I think we finally found a theme song for our show.
Banana,
Mr.
pajama.
Tally me banana.
Delight go,
Yeah,
man,
I think that's
go.
Harry Belafonte.
Yeah.
I knew some. I know some of his songs now because they were in that play that happened at the theater I used to work at. I used to work at a live theater that shall not be named. And there was like a folk retrospective.
Oh, it was in that one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It must have been during the second
I think
half.
like the midnight special and stuff.
Oh.
And
I shouldn't say that I didn't stick around for the second half.
I got sick to my stomach at the intermission and we had to leave. And then later on I saw the second act.
That's right.
Yeah.
It wasn't my fault. I'm a great theater goer. Everyone's watching me fidget right now.
Anyway, so now I can redeem myself a little bit by saying that was my second choice because I know everyone out there is going to listen to this and think, God, Sarah's really...
No.
Yeah. I was...
Redemption is not a factor in this. Bill and Ted... I understand what you're getting at, that it is a guilty pleasure, perhaps.
Aaron, let's just give it to her straight. We're not actually recording this. I've pre-recorded this, and this is a video. So we just wanted to humor you. And after this, we're going to call the men in the white coats to take you away, because anyone who likes Bill and Ted as much as
part of me thinks that you're being real right now.
Hey man, I mean, if we're gonna compare these, I mean, my choice was The Faculty,
yes.
so I mean, I'm gonna have to say this is like way over my choice.
I was going to say that in the beginning of the podcast, but I didn't get a chance to. It was like, don't feel bad. Aaron chose The Faculty.
What's your choice?
I haven't picked my choice yet.
What is your choice going to be?
It's going to be something stupid.
But I want to know.
I'm not going to tell you yet. You'll have to wait until the randomizer breaks down again. Speaking of randomizers,
I think it's taken about a week or so to recharge. Maybe you should try to press that oddly shaped button over there.
it's kind of
I don't know what we're supposed to be visualizing here, but I'm visualizing a cardboard box.
well, you're not visualizing anything. It's a real thing. You're looking at a cardboard box. It's in the cardboard box. It's like Schrodinger's, how do you say that guy's name? Schroeder from Peanuts, cat.
What?
While it's in the box, it's neither alive nor dead. And that's the way the randomizer is.
Yeah, so
we're hoping it's dead.
We just lift a little bit, and then we'll just put our ear next to it, and maybe it'll whisper, some sweet nothings to us and let us know exactly what the next film is.
Yeah, if you listen to the last podcast, you'll hear that I was kind of assaulted by the randomizer last time. Aaron?
Oh, yeah.
We need to talk about this because...
This is some serious talk here, I can tell.
It said something to me.
Whoa, for reals? What did it tell you?
It wasn't,
what did it speak at you?
It wasn't intelligible. It was like garbled alien speak. There's no other way to say it. So
how similar was it to the drone from Empire Strikes Back?
Very similar.
Oh man,
it's almost as if I left my VHS copy of Empire Strikes Back in the box with the randomizer, trying to get it to choose Star Wars next time.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that's what happened, but
I don't want to know what happened to that tape in there.
That's good. Visualize it as looking like the toaster robot from the Star Wars, the first movie.
Okay, good deal.
Anyways, that's fine. Let's start it up right here. Let's get it going.
All right.
Play some music to soothe the savage beast. Okay, seems fine right now. Okay, press that button.
Okay.
Turn the dial.
Yep, here it goes.
Okay, it seems fine right now.
Whoa.
That's a lot of smoke. But,
yeah.
Okay, we got wow, never heard of this. Trapped by Television from 1936.
Oh.
That's weird. That sounds like something that would be on MST3K.
Huh.
I don't know if it ever was. Okay.
Cool.
Hey, I didn't get hurt.
Well,
I
yeah.
can put it back. Science fiction movie from 1936. Trapped by television. Don't know anything about it.
Nope.
None of us do. It's available on YouTube for free if you're looking to watch it. At least at the time of this recording, it was. Maybe they'll take it down because it becomes too popular.
Oh, yeah.
So that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got a strained look on your face like you're... No, don't be embarrassed. It's great. It's cool. Everything's fun. Oh, man. So, until next week. That's right. I always forget. I want to consistently do this from now on. If you guys want to email us, please send an email to pleasedon'tpodcast@gmail.com. If you want to follow us on Twitter, we have the Twitter handle outerspacepod. And individually, you can follow Aaron at HyperHeroMan, HyperHeroMan. And mine is at JDT Movies. If you can't spell that, I can't help you. Other than that, I think that's it. I've been Joel.
Be excellent to each other. I've been Aaron.
I'm Sarah. Party on.
Dudes. You gotta say dudes. I don't care what your nephews say. Dudes. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah, I think,
Honestly. I'm gonna make a bunch of notes right now.
okay.
We'll pick up on the mic.
Dig that Sierra Mist.
Yeah, thank you. Feeling it. On a hot day like this, it's always good to have some nice Sierra Mist. Thanks, Sarah.
Advertisement. Those big bucks. All right.
It's the taste of the new generation.
I can feel the bubbles.